Hey everybody, this is Pat Jennings again from thebizseller.com, and in this video we are going to talk about how you can take control of the selling process from the very beginning. And in short, the way that you take control of the selling process is to develop a method by which you can separate the very good prospects from the not so good prospects, and do so quickly so that you spend all of your time only with qualified buyers, thereby maximizing your chances to sell quickly and for the best possible price. And in order for you to identify the best prospects, you absolutely must have some way to collect some basic information on potential buyers right from the start. And it's important that you do this before you give them any confidential information about you or your business. Now, of course, when you advertise your business for sale, you're going to give people a general outline of your business in the ad: the type of business, the size, gross revenues, general location, basic things like that. But what I mean by collecting information up front is that after someone responds to your ad, you want to find out from them their details of qualifications. That's their business experience. Realistically, how much money do they have to invest? How soon do they want to go into business? Are they willing to relocate? You want to know, at the very least, these basic facts before you give them any confidential information about you, such as your company name, your exact location, any detailed information about your finances or the inner workings of your business. You have to keep all that information confidential until you know that you were talking to someone who is legitimately qualified. And demanding this proof of qualification from the prospect up front is the single best way to separate the good prospect from the bad. As we've stated in other videos, there are serious qualifications for buying a business, but there are absolutely no qualifications for responding to a business for sale ad. Anybody can do it, and a lot of people who don't have any hope or ability of buying a business will respond to your ad. And you can't afford to waste any of your time trying to ferret through all of these prospects and figure out who can buy and who can't. And you definitely can't invest a lot of your time with a large group of people who can't buy. Now, some of this may seem obvious to you, but the reason that we made this video is that currently the status quo in the business for sale field is that sellers are willing to tolerate all sorts of nonsense and unrealistic expectations from buyers. And this email reply is something that is not really an exaggeration or that rare. This is the type of anonymous replies that you get from buyers all the time, demanding the world from you. And like I said, they're anonymous. They're one-way communications where this buyer has, or this potential buyer, this prospect, has the unrealistic expectation that you will tell them everything about your business, and then maybe at some point, if they're interested, they'll actually tell you who they are. And this attitude from buyers has become the accepted norm in the age of the internet, where communication is so easy and so quick. So if you give away detailed personal information about your business to just anyone who asks, without demanding anything in return from the prospect, well, you're going to wind up spending a lot of your time and energy and resources with people who can't or won't buy. Now, we've stated this fact in many of our other videos, but it's worth repeating. Only about 10% of the people who respond to business for sale ads ever actually wind up buying a business. And if you can't tell the real prospects from the phonies, then you are going to spend a lot of your time and energy and emotion invested with people who can't or won't buy. Now, at thebizseller.com, we require all buyers to complete what's called a buyer background statement. That includes the information below, and then we pass these details of qualifications onto the seller. Now, to be clear, you cannot demand very personal, sensitive information from buyers, like looking at their credit report or their tax returns immediately, because, to be fair, they don't know who you are yet either. And just like you don't want anybody looking at that kind of information on you, buyers don't either. But the buyer's background statement is a very reasonable first hurdle for buyers to cross. Now, if you don't use thebizseller.com to help you find buyers, then you'll need to create your own version of the buyer background statement that asks buyers to supply this information. And the great thing about this form is that legitimate prospects are more than happy to cooperate. They understand the position you as the seller are in. But people with no money, with bad credit, people with something to hide, always balk at supplying this information. So it is the best way that we have found to quickly and immediately separate the professional, well-prepared, realistic prospect from the unrealistic, unprepared pretender. And this method, like I said, it does it quickly and it does it very early in the process. And here's the thing. Any viable, professional, realistic, and reasonable candidate is going to be perfectly agreeable with giving you their details of qualification. If they're not willing to do that, then it's a sign that they're not serious, they're not qualified, or they really have no idea how the business buying process works. And here's the other thing you need to keep in mind. Early on in the process, people are always going to be on their best behavior. And if they're not reasonable and respectful towards your privacy up front, well, they're not going to become more reasonable as time goes on. They're not going to get easier to deal with as you get deeper into the deal. So take control of the selling process up front. Ask prospects to provide some very reasonable information about the details of their qualifications. Ask them for that information up front. And just by asking, just the act of asking will help you to separate the good prospects, the professional people, from the bad prospects and the time wasters. Plus, the information you get is very useful. It tells you a lot about who you're dealing with, and you get to decide if you want to invest your time with them and if you want to share any more detailed confidential information about your business. So, that's it for this video, and we will see you in the next video.